So a little disclaimer, this video was a private student that I had. We were just getting into some different feels, some like funk and some reggae stuff. And anyway, we kind of stumbled on this Stevie Ray Vaughan style of like that Texas shuffle. It's not solely, the Pride and Joy Texas shuffle. We sort of start moving things around and show like why learning that feel and then mimicking it, changing it, moving some stuff is incredibly beneficial, not just for playing that style, but for really learning these little nuances of feel, rather than this particular student was a bit more of a shred student. So it's on an acoustic guitar, and it isn't just solely about whether Pride and Joy or just it isn't solely about that one shuffle. We kind of move some stuff around and talk about some dynamics and stuff. So, yeah.
So much to this. So we've got the bass line, and we've got that swing feel. Now this is where it gets interesting, because we were doing, remember the exercises where we did light down, hard up? This is almost what we're doing here, where I don't necessarily want that drastic of a difference between the bass line and the swing, right? But I do want a little bit more pull up on that. And if I were to really split that up, that's a fast like pull up, and a cutoff too, right? Super close cutoff. Now let's do super hard cutoff, fast too, super fast cutoff to the open, and then to the hammer on. So now you just have this. And it's not as easy to tell, but if I'm at 100 on the way up, I'm probably at an 80 on the way down. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely only aimed for that top string. Right? Yep. So now what we're doing is we've got so much boiled into this one lick, where now we have these swung upstrokes, which are louder. So they're louder, and they're staccato, right? Cut off and louder. And the bass line goes right in. The bass line's legato into the next note. The bass line's right. We're almost not hitting those strings at all. We're just hitting the bottom three or the bottom four for these. So we're leaving that bass line alone. So you're doing two things. That is completely unobstructed by a straight down pick bass line. So now we're doing so much back and forth. Right? And the funny thing is, actually, if you watch Stevie Ray Vaughan do it live, when he's singing, he only does this. And he lets the bass player kind of take the bass line a little bit. Now, the last part is now, so now we're diving into those dynamics again. We're really playing with volume and really seeing how that lays out, right? Now we have these two parts that are completely unobstructed. The very last thing now is to do kind of what we talked about before, but can we slow it down now and swing it so we're really going to push that third note of the triplet. So the second note's out. 1, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. But the funny thing is, because this is all like a feel thing, to get the feel, right? Like I was saying, it's not that you can't play it at a certain speed. That's not it. But you can really feel the swing and pushing that much closer to this than it would be if we did it in a triplet. Like we were saying, that swing is taking the two of a triplet out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. That's an even swing, right? we can. Now that sounds a little weird when it's just one note, but when we push that third of the triplet up a little closer to the one, we spike it with the volume, right? And then we're coming down right on the downbeat. Now we've created a whole new thing that's difficult not to play for you, not necessarily even to hear for you, but just something that's so different than anything we've ever done that if we really slow this down. And the cool thing is from there, you know, when it's slower especially, there's a little bit of a circle, right, that sort of happens. And you can see, watch my ups, because if we're going to do it at this speed, I like the idea of that up being pretty drastic, right? If we're going to slow this Texas shuffle down, we can get a little lazy with that up, you know, and now we're pushing it back, but now it's starting to almost bleed right into the down pick. We're getting a little bit lazy, and it's almost got a circular thing to it, right? You know, think of it like, I don't even know. I feel like I like lean into the down a little bit more, not necessarily volume wise. It's just, yeah, that's just where the beat kind of is. Now, what's really cool, what I brought up here just to check it out, I wanted to show it to you, was his song Rude Mood. With that same idea, it's got a little bit less of that feel because it's that fast. You know, or whatever the bass line is. I know it's something close to that. But that's so, there's so many sides of that. We've got right in the center. You know, and that you're really lending to the drummer and the bass player what to do. Slowing it down and pushing that third of the triplet, that swung right up into the one. You know, maybe getting like a little bit lazier with it, and then you really straighten it out. You know, and that whole time, if you try that fast one, how you know you're doing the slow ones correct is if you can do that fast one without tensing up at all, which I'm sure you can based on just how fast you can play. But we're used to playing fast, you know, tight, right? Yeah. Or you think it's palm muted? Yeah. That's what it looks like. Oh yeah. I never really thought to do it, but I think what's cool is when you're doing that palm muting, yeah, you're getting this. It's all here, right? It's got a little pull up, you know, with your elbow a little bit just to get that velocity. But like I was saying, you know, if I tried to do it like tight and straight wrist, like you can see it's not working as well as like really letting that wrist get in there.